And then the last one is Granblue Fantasy ReLink, which has been out for a while, but I got a code the day it came out, which is cool because I really wanted this game, so I'm glad I got it. What makes this game cool is this game, for people who don't know, this game was initially being developed by Platinum Games for like 6 years. They were working on this game, and then they got kicked off the game. What we assume they maybe just like the contract ended and their work was done, and then Cygames 2 came in and like finished it up. But what makes this game really cool is I guess even more backstory I have to talk about. So it's a gacha. It's a pretty popular gacha game in Japan, and also over here in the States is pretty big. More in like the fighting game scene, I would think is pretty big. But the gacha alone is huge in Japan. It's like one of the original like big gacha titles. Some old vets from the Final Fantasy team left to make this, and a lot of the people who are making huge games now started on this team, and a lot of artists like the Nier artists started on this team. So a lot of big heavy hitters started on this gacha game, and yeah, so there's this gacha game that's been going on for like 9 years now. Then this game finally makes it to the West. It's kind of the West's first time introduction to these characters besides the fighting game. And to start the game, you essentially are like, you don't know these characters, and the game expects you to know these characters, which is kind of weird, right? You're like, oh, but like me, I'm like, yeah, I'm a nerd. I've been playing this game for forever. Yeah, I know who these characters are, and they mention things from the gacha game. And you're like, okay, well, I don't know these things, but it remedies this pretty well with these things called fate episodes, where you unlock kind of like tiers inside the character to unlock more skills and stuff, and you learn about their past, and that kind of fills in the background information that you need. But what is really cool is, this is going to sound like a negative, but the story isn't that important. The story is pretty easy. It's like it's not something that's going to like make you like think hard. It's a pretty tropey like JRPG story, right? And the game knows this because it has a built-in mechanic where if you skip a cutscene, it gives you a summary of what happens. It's like blah 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 happens and blah blah blah. You're like, okay, cool, and you just skip, and then you keep playing the game. So it's like if you want to watch it, you can watch it. If you don't want to watch it, skip. Be like, okay, Jita and crew went to fight the goblins over here, and they learned this. Okay, nice.
Sometimes it's 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know how long your cutscene's gonna be. So.
Yep. And what's really nice is this mechanic comes from the gacha game. The gacha game has the same thing. You just skip everything, it'll tell you what happens. I have never watched a full cutscene in the gacha game, but I know the story because I've read the little things. But the gameplay is so fun to play. It is insane. It has these Platinum Games set pieces, and it feels like a Platinum Games game, and it's also an RPG, like a really deep RPG on top of that. So you have leveling, you have skills you unlock, you have weapons that you level up, or weapons that you craft to make the best thing for your character, stats you can find, all these things for this grinding thing, right? But it feels good to play, and there's like 24 characters you can unlock, and they all play different, and they all have like different rotations, different skill sets, different utility they bring to your team. You can make a team of 4 and gear them out and go crazy fighting these like raid bosses to get more stuff, get things to level up, whatever. But what's also cool is you can play online with friends. So you and your friends can go and fight these raids, fight these quests, all this super hard in-game content with characters that you can level up together. But yeah, so it's like, it's really crazy, but it feels like an MMO in the way it has like each character has a specific skill set and rotation. and different builds. Like you get these weapons that you have to craft and grind for, and put like gyms into to level up. All these things, very like all the things you would expect from a gacha game are here, but you don't have to spend any money, which is cool. So there's a lot of grind, but you just have so much build variety you can do with your stats, with these different things. I forget what they're called. They're these orbs you can get to put on your characters that give you different increases in certain and like certain things. Like, oh, like if this character is in the air, they do more damage, or if this character never gets hit, they do more damage. So you have characters who are built around these certain like skill sets. So it's very cool. And like I said, there's 20-ish different characters, and they all play different. And you have these amazing set pieces. It's a gorgeous game. The bosses feel like raid bosses from like Final Fantasy 14. It's crazy. It's good.
It's not particularly like seen to have like RPG style like dungeon raids online, but without any of the MMO trappings. Like that's kind of a new novelty concept in like video games as a whole, because it's either it's an RPG or it's an MMO. It's like it's one or the other. You either got to commit to the long haul, or hey, you just want to come and do this with me for 30 minutes. And we do.
Yeah. No, like it's like the Monster Hunter thing where you have a hub city and you can like post a quest and invite your friends and they come. Like that's just kind of like, it's awesome.
We need more of that, I think.
Yeah.
There needs to be more games like that. So
but we don't have any games that are like that play like this. There's no games that play like this. So like it's just a nuts to butts kind of just like going insane. Like
I love that. Nuts to butts, baby.
You have
Maven is on the screen there, Dally. Go click on me.
You have like perfect dodges that will do things for your character's attack. You have parries, you have like break mechanics and all these things that you and your friends can do together, or you and your party that you made yourself can do, like that you just build a party around. Like it's just so fun. And yeah, it's also $60, which is a rarity in these days. But yeah, it's definitely worth like checking out if you ever get the chance, because the story is also like 10 hours long. So if you want to play the story, just like go through it.
Yeah.
It's not offensive story wise, like it's just super easy, but it's so fun to play. And the characters are awesome. The characters, despite being very just kind of like cut and dry kind of anime trope characters, there's depth to them that I find really interesting, and not like, oh my god, this character's so deep and so cool, but it's like they're just fun characters you want to be around. It's kind of like
that's sort of the advantage of taking this gacha concept to a console without the gacha, is that every single one of those characters has to be designed for you to want to put money into this to get the person that you like the most. And so when it comes to a console, well, all these characters have these fleshed out characters and backstories and stuff for a game where that's unnecessary now, because everything's well established and you don't have to dump the money into it. You just get to reap the rewards that everyone else is.
Yeah, I really think the biggest shock to me is they have 20 odd characters that you can unlock, and they all feel so different to play. Like that's just such a feat to just kind of like have in the game, that amount of like anybody can find a character that they like. Like there's characters who are just dedicated to shooting from like afar. There's a character who's dedicated to like killing himself, but like getting more attack and being like a tank, and like that's just like there's so much stuff.
And it's nice to see that nothing kind of got sacrificed in terms of like, usually when you have something like that, it's like, oh, it's got like, 85 unlockable characters and they're all unique, but then like every other part of the game kind of suffers. Like it looks like shit and it's kind of sluggish, but
And also I think the biggest like thing I can sing for like the praises I can sing is it does an amazing job of bringing the already established like gameplay people expect who are like fans to a console game. Like it's like really respectful to where it came from. It's just like it's awesome. So
I have to check it out sometime.